Science!
This week in science, D-Man, we're staying on Earth, so we're not going to space to scare you.
Okay, good.
But this is really cool, and for anybody who's been following the science blogs this week, you probably have heard about this, but I couldn't not talk about this because it's that exciting. We recently found a 110 million year old nodosaur fossil. Now, a nodosaur is like an ankylosaur, the ones that have the spiny backs and the club for a tail.
You mean a fucking dragon?
Yes, a dragon. We found this fossil, and it's the best preserved fossil ever of its kind. And if you're watching this podcast in our brand new video segments, this is what it looks like. That's the head, and this is all fossilized. It's absolutely
that's a
real.
dragon.
Yeah,
Shut
it's
up.
Absolutely dragon.
That's a 110 million year old dragon.
They found this in 2011 in Alberta, Canada, and the excavators were puzzled as to what it was. And when they actually took it out of the rock, this preserved specimen from the snout to the hip is all intact. And then they found other pieces of it kind of broken off. But it is the most well-preserved we've ever found of a dinosaur.
What makes it different from the other preservations that we found?
We've never found something. Now, remember what petrification means. You know, I mean, this isn't the actual dinosaur.
No, it's almost like a cast.
Right, exactly. And we found casts. We found jaw bones before, but we've never found a complete dinosaur. This is as complete of a dinosaur as we've ever found this way. And what's really interesting about this is that even the way that it was preserved, it looks like it was just walking around. Its neck is curved slightly, like it's just about to take a bite of something. And it's just...
You mean it wasn't panicking?
Right? It's incredible.
It was like, oh no, I'm going to die.
It would have reached 18 feet in length and almost 3,000 pounds when it was alive. And the remnants of the scales and the skin are completely preserved too. So, I mean, you can see the indentations of these of the scale, of the skin, and we can really get that good idea of what this dinosaur was all about, including its back ridges and its spines on its back, its armor plating. We always knew that these dinosaurs had this type of armor plating, but we've never been able to study it to this extent before, and that's what's really exciting. This is a completely new type of species of the nodosaur, actually, that we've had hints of.
Does it breathe fire?
Yes, it does. Not really. It doesn't have the clubbed tail like the ankylosaurs, but it does have 20-inch spikes on its back, and that was obviously so predators like T-Rexes and stuff couldn't eat it. So many precise factors led to this dinosaur being preserved the way it was. It died, it fell into a river, and then was, slightly decomposed into the sediment and then, washed into this mine, which is where we found it. If it was washed an extra 20 feet down the river, it would have been in the mountain that's there today, and we might never have found it because we never would have dug there. You know what I mean? If it had not washed far enough down in the river, maybe some scavengers might have come and just picked the bones clean, and the bones would have all dissipated, and we would have just found the bones.
So it's just in the perfect location. Location.
The perfect thing. And it's so incredible to be able to see this kind of specimen. And if you are in Canada, it's on display right now, which is really interesting. And they found another one very recently in Montana, same type of species, and they nicknamed it Zool.
Oh,
because
God.
it reminds you
From
of the
Ghostbusters,
dogs from
yeah.
Ghostbusters, because it is that crazy. I love it when we find stuff from our past, our way past, 110 million years old. And like I said, it looks like it was just walking around.
Let's keep it 110 million years in the past. Let's not clone this thing.
Yeah.
I don't want it hanging around. I don't even care if the meat's good. Just no.
It is pretty interesting. The world's most diverse collection of dinosaur footprints has been found. And I thought that was pretty cool. They were found on the Dampier Peninsula in Australia.
Whoa.
And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, you can see a picture of all of the footprints behind us. And this is actually just one of the large areas.
That's like a jackpot there.
At least 48 different track sites were found in a 15.5 kilometer stretch. That's huge.
It's like
huge.
New York City of the dinosaur era right there.
Totally. At least they were concentrated in at least 3 main areas. They're still uncovering all this stuff. And thousands of tracks have been examined. Dr. Steve Salisbury, who's a paleontologist at the University of Queensland, actually said the diversity of the tracks around Walmandini, which is where this is, was globally unparalleled and made the area the Cretaceous equivalent of the Serengeti.
Wow.
Now, it's funny because a lot of movies about dinosaurs, including Jurassic Park, but also The Land Before Time and even Ice Age and stuff like that, they always show multiple different species all kind of herding together like a big, beginning of the Lion King type-esque thing, you know? And that's super, up until now, we really never had any record of that.
Yeah.
Like, we always thought that was kind of a fake thing. It's not. This actually proves it, and that's incredible. The sites are providing a really good look at the early Cretaceous period, and all of these footprints together, there, like I said, are so many different species of dinosaurs walking around. They range between 140 million to 270 million years old, and they range in size between 8 inches to up to 5.7 feet. And that's some of the largest tracks ever recorded. And there's one with a guy sitting right next to it right there. That is such a huge animal.
They find that guy there too?
Yes, the guy was there too.
He looks like a dinosaur.
This also, all of these tracks is the first time that it has been confirmed that the dinosaur, the Stegosaurus, the one with the big plates on its back and the spines on its tail, it's the first time that it has been confirmed that dinosaur actually was walking around in Australia. We had never found any evidence of that before, so that's really interesting.
Wow.
Another really interesting thing about this is the tracks also have ties to the indigenous Aboriginal people of Australia. They have this thing called a song cycle, where for as long as ancient time can remember with these Aborigines, they communicate a lot through song, and a lot of their history and a lot of their culture is passed down through song. And these tracks have been known to them way longer than they've been known to the public at large, and they actually coincide with some of the songs that coincide with their culture.
Yeah.
So not only are we learning more and more about the dinosaurs and the Cretaceous area, we're learning more about the indigenous people of Australia by making this discovery as well.
That's amazing.
It really, really is.
Well, before writing was even invented, which is a relatively new thing
Definitely.
in the scheme of things, the way stories were passed along is song. Because that's a way they would be able to remember it. It would be catchy, so that story would be passed on and on through the centuries. So much so where, they're still concrete now. That's intense, man.
It really is. Music is a universal language, and it goes back even hundreds of millions of years because it's connected to the dinosaurs.
That's so intense.
So cool.
So fascinating.